very often it's difficult to do on the first time. On the first time one is surviving, but I've noticed there's an energy in the first performance or first series of performances that is never there again. So there's a freshness that is unique to the first time, and each subsequent group of performances then gains depth and more layers of complexity in the interpretation. But I found that to be pretty consistent.
Is tradition sometimes a burden too?
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Especially in this repertoire. When you have Beverly Sills and Joan Sutherland and Maria Callas and Caballé and Leila Genser, I mean, the list goes on. In people's memories, on recording, it's daunting. There's a reason probably why I have chosen to sing pieces like Thais and Rusalka and La Dame Blanche, is because they're not as well known, and it's easier, or world premieres for that matter. I find the weight of history to be a particularly heavy weight. I do.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But how fully do you develop a role before you go into rehearsal? How kind of finalized is that role in your mind before you go into rehearsal?
Well, it's never enough. It's never fully enough. I never am as prepared as I would like to be, just because of the demands, the everyday demands in my life. But I'm always flexible. I'm always thrilled if I can garner some inspiration from the conductor and the director, and my colleagues. Marcello Giordani and I are working so well together in this piece and have discovered that we have a real simpatico as stage performers. And I remember when we sang Manon several years ago, people said, you guys have real chemistry on stage. And it has nothing to do with your interpersonal, who you are as human beings. It has to do with what happens to you when you're enacting characters together. And we just work together very well, I think.
No, I remember the two of you very, very well in Manon. It was really very, very special. But he's playing such a different, well, both of you are playing such different characters now. But it still happens?
Yes, yes. I'm Miss Perfect in this one. Tragic heroine.
And Miss Imperfect.
The Manon was fun, yes. Having a good time.
Why are you drawn to Strauss' role?
Well, Strauss is my desert island composer. I love it. I don't know. I love it. I love the music. He loved us too, obviously. He loves sopranos, and so it's mutual. And I just can't imagine my life without Strauss. The four last songs, the Marschallin, Arabella. I have two new roles in the future. I have Capriccio and hopefully Daphne. No, not hopefully. I do have Daphne scheduled, and loads of song literature that I can do forever.
You are going to do Capriccio?
Yes.
Oh,
in Paris in 2003. Come on over. It's a nice town.
You had mentioned the size of an orchestra a little bit earlier, and I can't remember in relationship to what. But in Strauss, isn't that difficult? I mean, that orchestra is just so huge.
And you know what? There's a lot going on in the orchestrations as well. There's so much texture. And everybody seems to be playing something differently at the same time. That's really articulate, I know, I'm sorry. But the thing is, we can usually be heard, and I think it's because he scores the voice over the orchestra very often. The only time I have trouble is in the first act, for the most part, of Rosenkavalier, because that's very low.